Welcome back to season 2 of the She.E.Os of the Six. We're back in our little cozy pod where we talk real business, beauty, and boundaries, and everything in between. We're here to uplift women and encourage them to lead with purpose, own their power, and unapologetically carve out their own lane in life and at work. As promised in yesterday's episode, we're diving into the topic that's discussed behind closed doors all the time amongst small business owners, but I think we should be discussing it more openly because it will help us become better business owners and operators. How to deal with difficult clients and, well, people. So whether it's belittlement, fake apologies, or navigating toxic energy with some clients, this episode is going to give you the tools and the mindset to handle it like a She.E.O. But before we jump in, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're here to build a community, and honestly, it doesn't cost you anything. And we want to hear from your experiences, especially dealing with difficult clients and situations. Leave us a comment below and let's get to it. So we have 10 questions that I've kind of accumulated from past conversations with our friends, things that we've kind of talked about. And I guess let's kick things off with the first question. So what do you think makes a client or a colleague difficult in your eyes?
I think through experience. I think someone who is like always complaining. Like no matter like
they're never happy.
They're never happy. Like no matter what the situation is, they're just like never happy. So even if like something was to happen and that happened, they're not happy. But if the opposite was gonna happen, they still would have a problem.
So no matter what the outcome, they just see the negative side of everything.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I've come across a lot of, not just clients, I think I've come across like colleagues like that too.
Yeah. Colleagues for
and I think sometimes, you know, you can be the ray of sunshine and say,
yeah,
you know, well, why don't we look at it the other way? You know, we have so much to be thankful for and so much to be happy about.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it, and again, this is through experience as well. What's worse is like when they portray themselves to have that personality, but then when it comes to certain situations, they don't actually show that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes their version of themselves doesn't reflect their actions.
Yes, exactly.
That is actually, that's a very hidden, difficult client to deal with.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, there's a couple things that make a client or a person difficult.
Yeah.
For me, I always appreciate individuals that know what they want.
Yes.
You know, I really, really like they're set on, this is what I want.
Yeah.
This is how I want to go about it. You know, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Now, of course, with that being said, I also don't want the individual hijacking my entire process, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And what I used to find in makeup, specifically in bridal, as YouTube and tutorials and things kind of, blew up, everyone became their own makeup artist and they're jumping on trends and things like that. But what I'm seeing in front of me, like, okay, hey, you have oily skin.
Yes.
I understand you want a lot of highlighter, but you're going to produce it yourself, right?
Yeah.
So if they know what they want, but they're just rigid.
Yes.
I think that's where
that makes sense.
I find it difficult.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a difficult client to me.
Yeah. Because then if you do what they want to do, and like you said, like say if they have really oily skin, and then after they're going to start complaining that, oh, but like,
yeah, my makeup was cracking and you can see every pore, all of that, right? And which has happened earlier in my career, where I've guided you and you're just hell-bent and you're not listening. And now my work is walking out the door represented like that. Yeah. Which I'd rather honestly not have that client in that case, right? I know this sounds a little harsh, but
no, but I get it. Yeah.
You know, over time, I think as you develop your brand and your skills, you don't want that,
of course, going
out there.
Then you're very selective of, you know.
And I think another big one, and I'm sure you've experienced this many times, is if a client comes, I want a premium package, a premium service. I want everything, you know, the whole 9 yards. But what happens is once you've now purchased or you've walked away and
Yeah.
you've paid for this, you go home and you feel sticker shock. And then suddenly you don't like anything,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like when they left the chair or when they left, they're like, oh my God, I love this. This is amazing. But you know, they've gone home. They're like, did I just pay way too much for this? Because they start scrolling and they're looking at other people and everyone's touched up AI images. And they're like,
Yes.
oh, did I pay too much for this? I think oftentimes people that don't understand that they're paying for you, your hands,
Yes.
your skill, your service, your kindness, your how you kind of manage your bookings, your customer service. That's what they're paying for. And sometimes certain people don't value those things.
Yeah. They like to just see like the outcome.
The outcome and
The
that's
outcome of it. Yeah. And like you said, going back to AI and all of that, people are now showing us pictures that are like AI.
All the time.
And it's just kind of like you realize that this is like really photoshopped and this isn't what
It's
you're
not even
gonna look
Photoshop.
like. Yeah.
It's like not even
It's not even photoshopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nobody can look like that, and just managing that expectation can be very, very, very difficult sometimes. But I think you tend to sense it right in the beginning.
Yeah, you can sense a certain energy from certain people.
And then you kind of try a few things and you make certain suggestions, and then you notice how they're reacting to you.
Yeah.
And those are your cues. If they're just not listening,
Yes.
then that's it.
It's on them.
Yeah. Or if they've asked you to reiterate the same thing, okay, once or twice, I understand, of course. Hey, you said something about that.
Yeah.
But you're just not getting the point,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That to me is a difficult client that, in my opinion, probably needs to be let go.
Yeah. Nope, I agree.
Yeah. What about those clients that give you kind of a runaround for payment? For example, like deposits and...
Yeah.
'Cause that's like after the fact, right? Like once you've now kind of booked this client in and now you're trying to tell them these are my processes.
Yeah.
This is what I require. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah. So I actually experienced it when I used to do makeup and hair as well. So I feel like when it comes to deposits, it's usually okay. But I experienced like
Final payment
to be difficult. And one time this individual, like I knew this individual, so I didn't ask them for it right away because I'm like, oh, it's fine, like I'll get it from them. And then like I asked the next day, still never got it. Then I was like, it's fine, events are happening, they're just busy. And then I gave them a little bit more time, and then I asked again.
Just probably got sidetracked a little bit.
Probably just got sidetracked, and then I asked them again. And
so this is what? 3 times now?
This is the second time.
This is the second time.
This is the second time.
After the service is complete.
After the service was complete. In my head, because of the response, like, I thought they liked it. So I'm just like, I don't see why not. And they're posting pictures and blah, blah, blah. So I assume that they liked it, right? Unless there was an issue, then I would want them to tell me, like, hey, I didn't like this, I didn't like that.
Right.
But none of that was said. But then finally I got it after the third time, and, I kind of had to be nice, but also kind of give them, and I felt bad because I knew them, right? So I'm like...
I find family and friends sometimes to be more difficult to deal with. Like, it's not all friends. Like, my closest friends, and honestly, I'm so blessed, and I know you are too. They follow every single protocol.
Yes.
And they're just like, no, we want to support your business the way you want to run it.
Yeah.
And this is, and, they tip so well.
Yeah.
They know that, we're going kind of above and beyond as well. And they know that, hey, if something's off, I can tell my friend.
Yeah.
Like,
and I've noticed like people who like friends and family or just individuals who also have a business, they understand
it more
because they know the hustle, they know how hard it is.
Yes.
And they want to genuinely support you.
Yeah.
Whereas people that might not, and I'm not saying this is always the case, but sometimes when people might not, it's almost like an expectation.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Because they think, hey, you're running a business, you must be balling.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Not at all.
If you guys want to watch my Instagram reel, the Italian.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally that, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
So I have one more example, actually.
Yeah.
this is something I learned from Sammy when she had come in and done the pod with me in season 1.
Yeah.
You guys should go back and check out that episode. There's certain individuals who are just way too shy, or
Yeah.
they're not confrontational. They don't know how to come with the problem, right?
Yeah.
They think that they're gonna offend you if they
Yeah.
tell you that they don't like something.
Yeah.
But then they're harboring all these feelings and all this resentment, and they'll leave you a bad review without like
Expressing it at all.
expressing it, asking for some sort of resolution. And I think that's kind of like backstabbing, right?
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Actually, that has happened to me once. I've always had these one-off situations, right?
Yeah.
And it was a wedding I did in Sudbury. Now, I rescheduled this person. I don't know. I rescheduled her like 3 times because of the pandemic. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not going to increase your prices.
Yeah.
Everybody suffered because of it. I want to do the right thing by you, all of that.
Yeah.
And what had happened was when I showed up, I'd already done, I sent the follow-up text. I'm like, listen, we have to, start at 3:00. I'm coming with my team.
Yeah.
We can't be delayed. Everyone has to have their hair washed and dried, so on and so forth. We don't ring the doorbell in the morning because there's children, there's dogs, all these types of things. And we're in an unknown area. Now, 3 people waited outside for an hour.
Damn.
That's 60 minutes times 3.
Yeah.
I measure time like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when we've lost an entire hour and we have a bride plus an entire party
Yes.
of like 12 people, and then you magically want to add more people that we have to accommodate.
Yeah.
We're waiting there and you haven't opened the door. We're calling. And finally, the bride's mom opens the door.
Oh my God.
And she's just like, oh, you guys are having a party outside. I'm like,
What?
is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? But anyways, I'm
No.
like, no, this is not my place. I'm like, guys, we're on a schedule.
Yeah.
We got to get things done fast.
Yeah. We gotta get going.
There's no time to,
buffer. There's no buffer
there's
time.
no buffer
anymore.
time
Yeah.
at all,
Yeah.
right? Anyhow, all this time went by and I'm just trying to do my job coordinating all
Yeah.
these people. Her entire bridal party was a mess. No one was showing up with like dry hair. Nobody followed any
Any of the
protocol,
rules,
okay?
yeah.
And at this point, I'm going to charge you the late fees.
Yeah.
And I'm going to charge you. And I said it in the nicest way possible. But even the nicest way was taken, I guess she took it and was like, oh, she could have just been a little more relaxed and she could have, these things happen in Indian weddings. Sure. I'm sure they happen.
Yeah.
However, we have closed up our shop
Yeah.
and come for you 4 hours.
Yeah.
Into wherever, Sudbury, North, South, whatever.
I'm horrible with directions.
And you so much as can't show up on 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I get it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't understand wet hair, 2 hours late. The reception was 2 hours late when we specifically said we have to leave. We have to
Yes.
leave town by 6:00 to get there.
Yeah.
Because the next morning we all had early morning, like I think they were like 5 a.m. calls.
Oh damn. Yeah.
So all of these things, and I pleaded with her. I'm like, hey, this is the problem. Like, do you
Yeah.
think we can? And didn't say anything for a whole year. For an entire year, I find a review after.
Oh my God.
Like the delulu
Yeah.
here, I'm always someone who will step forward and say, hey, this was
Yeah.
my bad. I messed up
Yeah.
where I messed up.
Yeah.
But I recalled, I sat down with my team. I asked them, like, was I ever aggressive? They're like, no, you're the
don't
nicest
think so.
person
Yeah.
ever. Yeah, you have to be like a little, okay, let's
Assertive,
get this going. Like I have that, and
Yeah.
maybe I have a deep voice, but that was the situation. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. You're
Yeah.
festering a whole year later. Also,
Interesting.
another thing during our interaction, what I noticed was at this point I was pivoting my business.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, you're supposed to talk about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're supposed to share because
Yeah.
that's how word of mouth
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
And I was telling him like, hey, so, we're planning to do this. We're shifting our business a little bit. This might be the last few weddings that we're going to do. And it's, I was really excited about it. Like we cherish our, final few weddings.
Our brides.
And this is what we're going to be shifting towards. So anytime you have friends and family in the city, please, think of us.
Yeah.
Right? But the review had the response, oh, so she seemed jaded. And she was not even interested in being here and being a part of this wedding because, her priorities have shifted or something like along those lines.
But see, this is like an example of someone who would just literally look at a situation and only take out, like look at it as a negative thing.
Exactly. So that was an example of me learning that I need to vet every single client.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I need to see them. Now I schedule consultations on Google Meets with everybody.
Do like in person or like, because it's so hard to tell through like email or text because everyone's gonna be nice.
Exactly. Everyone's gonna be nice, and you can structure your emails and paragraphs really well. So that was an interesting story, and I responded really, really well.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt.
It is what it is. Oh, and the best part, my shoes were stolen.
What?
Yeah.
So you went without shoes?
So I left barefoot into the car, and then I got to my hotel, and then I put on my other shoes.
Who takes someone's shoes?
And it was the wedding was in their farmhouse, like in their house backyard.
That is insane.
So it just kind of paints a little bit of a picture, right?
Yeah.
And I said nothing. I was like, it's okay, no worries if you find them. That's all right. Sometimes I feel like we should have a place where you can review your clients.
Oh my God.
No.
I'm just in shock.
I know.
Who takes shoes?
They did return it to me 3 or 4 months later. They're like, oh, we found it.
3 or 4 months later?
Yeah. And then she sent it over with her friend who was coming back to Toronto. So that's the story of that.
Well, sorry you experienced that, but I think you handled it very well.
It was funny.
Yeah.
I just laugh at these things because at the end of the day, it's not a reflection of who you are. Right?
Yeah. And honestly, like these kind of experiences do help you kind of get a better sense of like how people are. Yeah. Right. Like if they were like, you start thinking back at clients like that and you're like, okay, this was a red flag. This was a red flag. And now moving forward, you're going to look for those things.
Exactly. And that's why I meet them or I need to see them face to face because then I can...
You just get a better sense of energy and demeanor and
all of that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2, what's your go-to move when someone tries to belittle you or make a passive-aggressive comment?
Oh my God.
Oh, so passive-aggressive comments are so fun.
They're so fun. So... Honestly, for me personally, it's like a very, I don't know, fine line on what I should be doing. Because anyone who tries to belittle you, makes a passive aggressive comment, like, it's like their own insecurity.
Yeah.
Right? Like anyone who tries to belittle someone and they're getting joy out of it, it's their own insecurity.
It's their own insecurity. They're projecting.
Yeah. And so I'm like trying not to react because at the same time I know that
and you're trying to be compassionate
and I'm trying to be like compassionate but also like show that it's not getting to me, but at the same time I don't want people to take advantage of me. Right? So it's like such like a
fine line. Yeah.
So there are times when I'll just be like haha, I'll laugh it off and like walk away. Or I will also not make a passive aggressive comment, but make like a joking comment.
Yeah. So you kind of have to learn to be witty, right?
Yeah.
In
these situations. Try to be witty. Yeah.
And almost kill it with humor.
Yes. Exactly.
Right? But, all jokes have a little bit of reality in them.
Yeah,
so
it's true. Exactly. Yeah. So I like assess the situation and then I kind of pick and choose. I'm like, do I care enough to make a comment? If not, I laugh it off and I walk away and I'm like, all right, I'm not interacting with this person ever again.
Yeah.
Or I'll make like a witty comment back.
Do you find, because I know you coordinate weddings, do you see that a lot in that environment? Like where do you see more passive aggressiveness?
Honestly, not so much in
wedding because everyone's in a good mood.
No, not really. I feel like with wedding, no.
Yeah, what's it like? And you're part of it.
No, I feel like with like weddings and stuff, they won't make passive aggressive comments. If they don't like something, they're
They're
blunt.
ready.
Yeah.
I guess they have the license to just tell you like it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I notice it more with like friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was telling a friend of mine, I'm like, it's like, you have tiered friends.
Yes.
You're
yes.
like, you're tier 1 and 2, even if it is like passive aggressive, you're just going to be like, shut the hell up, or whatever back. But it's kind of like the acquaintance range. And a lot of times I find like those are not always like the truest friendships.
Oh, 100%.
Right? So that's where you sort of notice it.
Exactly. How about you? You notice it a lot with your clients or?
I don't notice it a lot with honestly, all my clients are my friends at this point.
That's perfect.
But okay, like one example that comes up, I've talked about this one client this year, and thankfully it's been the only one this year that's been difficult, since we're on the topic of difficult.
Right.
It was 4 months later. Yeah, my color doesn't look anything like when I left the salon, but I kind of like it. Okay. So then I was like, I'm like, in the 3 consultations that we did have.
Yeah.
3 consultations. The 3 consultations that we did have, I explained to you what fade is going to look like.
Yeah.
Hair color is not permanent. And
I was going to say 4 months later.
4 months later, color will not look this.
Yeah.
I think this should be like one of my slogans.
Color is not going to look like when you first get it.
Color will change with every wash.
100%.
Pretty much it will take it. It's like a pair of shoes that you need to break into, right? And especially if you're opting for certain colors like coppery tones, and if your hair is porous, it's gonna not last. It's not going to last.
Yeah.
And you cannot compare it to the last time you got something done. Yeah. Because the last time you got something done was a completely different color. It was a blonde. So I just had to reiterate, and then I'm just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
After this point, that's when I was like, okay, now I have to make an adjustment and think about if I want her back in my chair. Yeah. I don't resentment.
Yeah, of course. And you just don't want that negative
I don't want that energy.
Yeah.
It's like now you're going to walk back in and you're going to not trust me more. Yeah. So I don't like to operate in that space. Yeah. Yeah. Because I know when I'm a client, and I'll tell you, so many times I've never been 100% happy, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, same.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm not here making passive aggressive comments.
Exactly.
If anything, I'll go to my stylist, for example, the next time, and I'll be like, hey, like this, it just looked a little different. Yeah, it just looked a little different. You think we can try something different? Like,
exactly. Yeah. Or this didn't work this time. Yeah. And honestly, 90% of my clients are like that. They're just like, hey, this is what happened. Should we try this? Yeah. Should we try that? Yeah. And then I'll kind of sometimes explain to them why certain things may have happened. And, I do make a note of what process we used, what products we used, what she had in her hair. Like I have that hair history going for me to understand. So I can always pull up and I can cross-reference certain things, right? Yeah. And we work together because we're a team. Essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of an example.
So question number 3, how do you spot the difference between a tough personality and a truly toxic behavior?
I think when you're a tough personality, I like tough.
Me too.
I don't know. I like a strong, tough, assertive person sometimes.
I feel like you can grow that way.
You can grow that way, but also I think if they're tough, they can also be fair.
Yes.
Yes. Tough can be someone that's like following up with you. Hey, you said 48 hours. You're going to let me know. Yeah. Most of the time, my clients don't have to tell me that because I'm so on top of these things. But hey, it happens. Life happens. Like, hey, I was expecting a response from you last night. Yeah. Like that is a tough. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. Yes. Let's jump on a call now, you know? So I think that's tough and fair. Yeah. Toxic, I think, is an individual who will manipulate what you want to say. Yeah. They will And I've actually noticed that in social settings as well as clients.
For sure. Yeah.
There's certain people that are asking you questions and they're trying to get your professional opinion, and you're, listing it out. Instead of paying attention, what they're doing is trying to find ways to loop you in.
Yes.
It's like this loop they're putting. It's like, oh, but then you said that.
Yeah.
And they're kind of designing this loop around their understanding of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes what happens is when you're just this person who genuinely wants to inform and educate, and, you put your heart out, literally. I think when they notice that that's what you're doing, but they want to wind you up, essentially.
Yes. Yes. They have wrong intentions.
Yes. And when I notice that, that's when I'm like, I don't even want to say anything. Yeah. I just want to end this discussion or interaction.
Let's just move on from
it. And I think I'm going to move on. And I will politely just kind of cut and part ways.
Yeah.
But that to me is very manipulative. And I think that's a toxic personality. And that's honestly narcissism.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
That's...
Yeah.
Because I'm an expert in narcissists. But what about you?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think with like tough personalities, I don't mind it. I think like they don't mean harm. Yeah. They're just blunt.
Yeah.
They say it as it is.
They're actually well-intentioned.
Yes. They're well-intentioned. They're blunt, but they're not trying to like hurt you.
Exactly.
Right? Whereas someone toxic, like I said, like I think this goes back to like people who are just very insecure with themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like someone who's toxic, they get joy with like manipulating you and putting you down and belittling you, all those things.
Or making you feel like you're questioning your expertise and,
Yes.
Sometimes that can happen. And I think these types of things happen when you're a lot younger.
Yes.
You do fall into these traps.
Yeah.
And then that's how you learn. Like, no, I need to keep my distance.
Yeah, exactly. And as you get older, you just kind of learn to know the difference between the two. And when it's someone who's toxic, like you said, you're just like, all right, you do you.
Peace out.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And then there's someone who's tough, like I said, they don't mean harm. They like understand empathy.
Yeah.
So like even though they're being tough, they're still trying to empathize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when I recognize that person, I want to do more, and I want to go more out of my way. Like I was painting you this example, hypothetical, where it's like, hey, I was expecting this at this time.
Yes.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm just let's just jump on a call now, or let's just do this now. Yeah. Because you took the time out to remind me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So that to me is a tough. In fact, I kind of want that client.
Yeah, yeah.
You're so on top of it. Not compliment them. Like, you're so on top of it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Like, thank you for keeping me, like, on top of it as well.
And what happens with these people, too, they understand, like, hey, you're running a business. It's a lot.
Yes.
And it's okay. I asked.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Next question. How do you deal with a fake apology? Like when someone says sorry and doesn't actually change.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've experienced that a lot in my life. Honestly, eventually, I think it just gets to a point where I start having my distance with them, because for me, like, I'm all about apologies. Like, I think it does make a really big difference when someone has the strength and the courage to apologize.
Yeah.
However, if you're apologizing, but then you don't change and it just keeps happening, then at that point I'm like, your apology means nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how do you keep apologizing and then you just keep doing the same thing? It's because I'm going to be like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah. And then they're sort of like, hey, she's just going to accept my apology and I can just keep doing it over and over again. Exactly. An example for me would be the specific clients that are repetitively 35 to 45 minutes late. Like, that drives me bonkers inside. I will always be okay with 10, 15 minutes. If you're going to be that late, just call. Just call or text, like, hey, or even I screwed up real bad and I slept through my alarm or whatever. My dog took a dump in my, I don't know, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
and you have to scrub the carpet
Yeah.
or something. But like, just give a bit of a heads up,
Explanation. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if I haven't heard from you and it's still 15 minutes
Yeah.
past the time you're supposed to be in my chair,
Yeah.
that's why I have a full consent form and waiver. They already know that per 30 minutes, there's a charge.
Okay. Yeah.
And I will give you grace. But if
Yeah.
this is a repetitive thing, then I'll usually call them in advance if I have them booked in. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, listen, you know, past couple of times we've ran into the situation. I have a really, really booked busy day today.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
And what's going to happen is if you do end up being late, I'm going to have to cancel your appointment,
Yeah.
charge you the late fee, and then we'll talk about rescheduling another time.
Yeah.
But what typically happens in this situation is we expect full payment in
Yeah.
advance.
Yeah.
And I say that as nicely as possible. You're always going to have those individuals who, like the review girl, right? It's like, how dare you? You're so up, you know, they might take it like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
How dare you I have children. How can you not have grace? And it's not that. It's like, you've got to respect my time, right?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, yeah, you have clients after, and like when one client is late, then the rest of your clients are gonna
Exactly.
get late. Yeah.
And, you know, likewise, like there are times that I get delayed
Yeah,
because there is an overlap. I usually,
But you're communicating.
I communicate that
Yeah.
way in advance. Sometimes when the booking, I'm putting it into the system. I'm like, listen, I have this going on before that might overlap. Are you flexible? Because if that's the case, I'm going to give you like a 1 hour, 2 hour window.
Yeah.
I just don't want you to be waiting. And because I respect your time.
Yeah.
And then often they'll be like, hey, no, thank you. I really appreciate that. You know what? I'll go and run an errand then in your area.
Yeah.
And you've kind of set this person up
Yes.
in advance, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I try to do that for individuals, and
Yeah.
most of my clients do that for me. It's just
Yeah.
the one-offs. It's always the one-offs.
Yeah. But no. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think in business you have so many little one-off type situations that overstimulate you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you just feel like
then you just become anxious,
Become
right?
anxious
You start
and-
stressing out.
yeah,
And like it's not even your fault.
it's not your fault, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But having consent forms, having policies, having reminded that, like, hey, you need to check this off and
Yeah.
you need to read it before, just so you know,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah, because it's like also like for example with wedding coordination and stuff, we have buffers, but when they get like when bride and groom or parents or whatever the families, if they are late, even after that, it's like, but then they still want things to run on time.
Yes.
And it's like
Something's got to give. And that's the first thing I tell them,
Yeah.
especially during the consultation too. It's like, well, then something's got to give,
yeah.
right? Because this lateness was not in my control. I needed this much time
Yeah.
to execute.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just sort of have to reiterate. But I think sometimes it's also a generational thing.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, no, well, work faster.
Yeah.
But that's
exactly.
not how.
That's not how. If you want good quality,
Yeah.
let's use the time that was given.
Yeah.
There's a reason to why
exactly.
you allot a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Okay. Next question. Have you ever had to walk away from a client or colleague because it just wasn't worth it?
Yes. It rarely happens, but it does happen. Or sometimes I have to walk away from like an existing client, not a new client that's just inquired.
Yeah.
That happens more often.
Yeah.
It's just because that's just like I don't want to call it a recycle
Yeah.
process. For the lack of a better word. People are not recyclable materials. I don't
They're
think of
not
people that way.
objects.
They're not objects. But just that's my process of elimination, essentially.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
But it's again rare. But once they become a client, that's the rarest. Like where I'm like, I cannot work with you again, because 90% of the time, we've built this amazing rapport.
Yeah.
Even with so many difficult people, it's like they've turned a
Yeah.
whole new leaf.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've adjusted to each other. Some people just have trust issues.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
been burnt so much by
Yeah.
other service providers. Like that can happen.
Yeah.
But I have fired one individual this year where she went on a revenge spree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an entire revenge free. And it was not even, it was like a, it's not you, it's me. Just to keep things cool.
Yeah.
Because I could sense the anger, right? It's the same passive aggressive comment person. It's always that profile of individual, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, further in the conversations, there was a lot of passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And on one hand, you keep wanting to put me down and my work down, but on the other, you're asking to rebook me.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting mixed signals, right?
Yeah.
And then what's also interesting is I was on top of responding and answering all your questions. And it's the same thing, the loop.
The loop.
Always want to put you in loops and like hold you to what you said here and not understand the entire context of all of this. Anyway, eventually I was just like, this is just taking way too much mental real estate.
Yeah.
And, I just don't need that in my life, right?
Yeah. It's just not worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I literally said, I'm not the hairstylist for you.
Yeah.
At this point, my business and myself, I'm, going a different direction. And I really wish you best of luck. Honestly, I can even recommend some names that are within your area. I know you travel really, really far.
Yeah.
Perhaps you can find someone closer.
Yeah.
That might actually work out better for you.
Yeah.
Oh, literally, I had got an entire essay.
No way.
Of how I'm a failure and I am like this and I'm like that and I don't know how to take feedback. And I was like, I literally looked
You handled it very well.
I literally looked through. I asked my husband, I asked a few people objectively. I'm like, hey, if you can go through this conversation, actually, I asked my coach as well. If you go through this conversation, do you feel anywhere I was short or I didn't respond correctly? Or they're like, you have been handling her like a pro.
Yeah.
Like you've been so just composed in all your responses. And I felt really nice about that. I was like, okay, good. Because sometimes you think of yourself a certain way.
Yeah.
But, maybe someone else is reading something else. And that's when it was like, okay, no.
Yeah.
Like you need to cut her loose, right? What I expected her to be was what she showed me.
Right.
That you're a complete...
Her true colors came out.
Her true colors came out. Then to top it off, the revenge spree became where multiple Facebook accounts and Instagram accounts were created just to leave multiple comments and responses, right? And I'm just like, I'm so sad for you.
Yeah.
I'm so sad for you.
You know what it was? I think because you kind of killed her with kindness.
Maybe.
Like, I think it got to her even more.
It got to her even more. Yeah.
And I think she, like, when you were kind of like, I may not be the right stylist for you, maybe she just felt rejected and that made her feel worse.
Yeah. So some people cannot handle rejection at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it was me, if that ever would happen to me, hypothetically, no one will ever.
Obviously.
They're stuck with me for life. No, I'm totally kidding. But I would really step aside and be like, okay, this happened. Like, why did this happen?
Yes, exactly.
Like, what did I do? You reflect and you're this is the time you really got to come from it from a spiritual angle, right?
Yes.
And say, where did I fall short?
Yeah.
I can accept that. I'm okay. Yeah. I'm a human being.
Yeah.
And I want to improve this the next time.
Exactly. I think it's easy for people to be reactive, like when there's something that might hurt their ego or like we were saying before, rejection, like whatever it may be, it's so easy to just react.
It's so easy.
Right.
And at one point I was like, okay, could be this an age thing? No.
Yeah,
like
no.
The same age, in the same age group and all of that. And what's interesting to me is, and this is one correlation I find very often with like very ego-centered individuals, they showcase their piety a lot.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
I have nothing against anybody religious.
No.
And like, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it too. And I respect it.
I respect
it.
You need a guiding system.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes some individuals use that as a shield because I think deep down inside, maybe they know that they're such monsters.
Yeah.
Right? And so they have to hide it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No,
Because
for
if
sure.
you really truly, believed in God or higher being or higher
You
purpose,
wouldn't be that way.
you wouldn't, yeah,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have this much anger,
Anger.
and you wouldn't be out there to
So
get someone.
negative.
Right. And at the end of the day, I'm another woman. We're from the same
Yes.
country, culture, all of that. Like,
Yeah.
I would just turn around and be like, okay, I'm done. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
walk away from the situation. So,
Exactly.
it happens. But again, what that taught me was to just have thicker skin and be
100%.
unaffected,
100%.
more than anything.
Yeah.
And these one-off situations are such, like, honestly, sometimes they're little blessings.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
They teach you.
They teach you so
Yeah.
much. They teach you so much.
They
And
really
like you learn so much about yourself because
yourself.
you're like, how did I handle the situation?
Yes.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest one. How
the
did
biggest-
I handle it? Do I feel proud of myself?
Yeah.
At the end of the
Yeah.
genuinely in my heart.
Genuinely.
And, that's that lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good one. Do you think women get labeled as difficult more easily in business?
Sometimes, yes. I think because as women, we are like conditioned to always be like this soft person. Someone who's more empathetic, without realizing that empathetic can also come with leadership and saying what it is and not being blunt, but like also just being to the point,
Yeah.
And the second we're not this soft person,
Right.
then it's like, oh, she is so full of herself, or who does she think she is?
Yes.
She's asking for too much. Like there's all these labels that get put once like a woman is being like a leader.
Yes, that does happen. I think
Yeah.
that has changed quite a bit,
Yeah.
of course. Of course, in the corporate side of
Yeah.
things, but what I do find in business,
Yeah.
asking for what you want, if you're kind of reiterating that, like I'll come back to the example of tardiness, nothing against moms at all.
No.
There's so much on their plate. I
Yeah.
have so much respect for
course.
moms that are juggling everything.
Everything.
I'm not one, but I see it, right? I see it
Yeah.
through my friends.
Yeah.
But that cannot always, like, you being late because of the kids cannot be at the cost of me.
Right.
Right? So there needs to be a responsibility on your part. So if I have to come in and now for the third time not excuse this, that's not me being unreasonable or
Yeah.
being difficult. That is
Yeah.
me trying to protect also my baby.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is my baby,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think communication for me is key. And then
Yeah.
coming back to the empathy, I do empathize.
I know. Yeah.
I really,
Of
really
course.
do. Like,
yeah.
What can you do if your kid's school bus hasn't shown up?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
These one-off situations happen, but then it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Right? It's not
this is
every
always
single
happening.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly. That just means now you're just not managing your time
Yeah.
well. You're not respecting your time, meaning you're not going to respect mine.
Yeah.
So now again, with women being difficult, I think also it's gone the other way with the rise of feminism.
Yeah. There's I feel like there's a fine line.
Yeah.
Like again, I think like you said, it's gone the completely other way
Yeah.
where women are showing more of their masculine
Asserting
side.
power.
Yeah. Their masculine side and completely forgetting about their feminine
Yeah.
side.
Yes. And
Right?
so in those circumstances, I do feel sometimes women can be a little difficult
Yes.
in that regard.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like now women feel the need to prove themselves.
Yeah.
To be a certain way in
Yes.
business, or even if they're a CEO, or especially if they're working with a bunch of men, you know what I mean? I feel like there's this pressure to
Yes.
kind of prove themselves, so they completely go the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And sometimes in those environments where if you are working with a lot of men, you sometimes do have to be more difficult.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Otherwise you'll get people walk all over you.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, this is a personal opinion. I could be wrong. Sometimes I feel in very male dominant situations, I've been there.
Yeah.
I almost have to pick a little fight and win it to earn the respect,
I
right?
get it. Yeah.
So, I think there's a yes and a no in this question, if we're difficult or not. I think at the end of the day, if you're a difficult person, you're a difficult person.
Yeah. I think it's important to have the balance between the
balance.
masculine and feminine side. I feel like
Yes.
it takes a lot of learning and unlearning.
Yes.
To be able to do that. Reflecting.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, especially in business, if you were conditioned to just show your feminine side, then yeah, like I know in the beginning for me, I was very hesitant to ask for payments or to ask for certain things, right? Because I'm just like, oh my God, what if I come off as like rude?
Yeah.
Or, you know, but
to that one-off person that finds everything you say
yeah, negative.
Exactly, right? But that's rare.
Yeah.
All right, next question. What's one situation with a toxic person that taught you something powerful about yourself?
That I'm not weak.
Yes, that you're not weak. Exactly.
That I'm not weak. I think like going back to like toxic behavior, they're very manipulative. And this is actually with my ex, but like that manipulative behavior, it just starts to make you believe that that's all true about yourself. Right?
Yeah.
Like if people are saying something about you, you start to believe that's true.
Yeah.
You know, after getting out of that like relationship, I started to realize that it was his own insecurities, and that's fine. Everyone has their own insecurities. That's totally fine. But it was being projected. And I was able to learn and reflect so much on myself. And I became so much stronger in the way I assessed situations, how I was able to actually see the behavior in other people plus myself. I'm not perfect, and I never thought I was, but it really helped me actually reflect on where I went wrong and what wasn't.
Yeah,
true,
and you
right?
came out way stronger.
Yeah.
You can like just keep it together now the next time this situation happens. And yeah, I completely agree. I think what I've learned here is like I can just keep it together in the toughest circumstances.
Yeah.
And I've learned from, I guess, some good examples in my life that this is an honorable trait.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess in these types of situations, you want to always focus and think about what's honorable.
Yes, exactly. I think being emotionally regulated is like huge, because when I was in a toxic behavior, I was not emotionally regulated.
Yeah.
It was like the worst side of me. Like worst
100%.
side of me. And like now I am a lot more composed.
How do you keep yourself emotionally regulated then, especially as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, someone that's new, just starting? Oh my God, I've done this thing, I've started this venture. Like, and you know, inside they're having difficulty in their personal life. Like, how do you keep yourself emotionally regulated?
I think it comes down to empathizing with what they're going through, and just almost trying to like empathizing or realizing that they're behaving this way because they might be going through something. And I'm not saying that I might not have done something wrong, but again, it's like all based on how, like, what the situation is, how reactive the other person is being, how aggressive the other person is being. If someone is, you know, saying that they have a certain issue with me, but they're also regulated, then I'm just like, oh, okay, like this is an honest kind of feedback.
Right.
And it's a lot more easier to like reflect on that. Obviously, if someone is being aggressive or just, you know, being reactive, I take a step back. You know, I like take a deep breath, because like I said before, it's so easy to be reactive. Right? Yeah. It's so easy to be like, when the other person is doing
so you kind of like step away.
I take a step back.
Step away from the situation, go into nature.
Yes.
If you don't have that accessible to you because it's like minus 30 outside, which can actually kind of help cool you down.
Exactly.
But you know, just stopping and saying, I can't control everything around me, but what I can control is myself.
Yes.
And now I refuse to be reactive.
Exactly.
I'm going to handle this with utmost care and compassion.
Yeah.
As much as I can give.
Yeah.
And after that, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm unaffected.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's one of the things I've learned from, you know, the Stoics.
Yes.
Essentially, right? It's just being regulated.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard. So hard. But which is why I think like certain experiences are needed.
Yeah. And then when you learn from them, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
I can actually do this. Like coming back to the previous questions, like, wow, I am strong.
Yeah.
I can get through this and I can get through it.
Yeah.
again if it happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last question. For someone listening who's scared of confrontation, what's one small step they can take today?
I think if you're afraid of confrontation, start small.
Yeah.
You know, start in your immediate circle and kind of think about like the things that you're like harboring resentment maybe.
Yes.
And start small.
Yes.
You know, I don't appreciate X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You can always approach it by saying, I'm calm, I have boundaries, I don't feel butthurt easily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I can express myself clearly and respectfully.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, when you
yourself
walk
that.
in to the situation like that and you know, I don't know, I'm all about these mantras to tell. I know they sound cliche, but
get it. No, but it makes such a big difference.
it really does, right? Because then you've set that intention and you know, then confrontation doesn't feel bad
Like
at all. It's not a confrontation.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm expressing, you know, or I'm asking a question. You
Exactly.
know? That's it.
Yeah.
And if the person is reacting negatively in spite of the way you've positioned it, then you might want to re-examine that relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But if most of the time, if you've approached it well,
yeah, it usually goes well.
It usually goes well. And sometimes it may not go well that minute.
Yeah.
It may take a person some time to kind of sleep over it. I recently had this with a friend a few months ago. There was something I was holding on to for many, many, many months.
Yeah.
And it was just like affecting me like in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
And I was just afraid to tell her because I was like too scared to hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
But I did eventually. I said, look, I have your back.
Yeah.
That's why I'm telling you this.
Yeah.
Right? You might hate me now.
Yeah.
I even opened it up. I'm like, you might feel so upset that I'm saying this, but I've got to tell you, this is what I've observed.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. It may have not been taken well that day.
Yeah.
But now we're closer than ever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
If it goes well, majority of the time, you'll just become closer. Your relationship will be better.
And that's what you want in your life. That's the level of honesty you want from your friends, from your clients, from people,
family.
From family. Those are kind of relationships you really want to cultivate.
Exactly.
And if things are not going the other way, it's okay. Just, you were never meant to be mine.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm telling you, like, holding it in and not saying something will come out in like worse ways.
Yes.
Because then you're literally just bottling it up. There's resentment. And no matter what the person is doing or saying, you are constantly looking at that person as what you're feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, one day you're going to blow up and the person's going to be like, whoa, where is this coming from? And then your relationship will get worse.
Yeah. And this isn't to say like just become reactive and confront everything.
No,
there's a method.
There's a method
to the madness.
No, exactly. There's a way of doing it.
Yeah.
And like a big, and I know communication is so like broad and whatever, like it's just, but a communication, it's about like sitting down with the person and be like, hey, like you were saying, like, I'm telling you this because I love you and I care for you. And something was on my mind and I don't want this to be something that comes in the way.
Yeah.
So I just want to be honest, and maybe it's in my head, but I just kind of want to clear it out.
Yeah. And confrontation, if carried from an angle of anger, I'm so upset about this.
Yeah.
You know, that will never benefit you.
Yeah.
You have to put these like highly charged emotions aside and isolate the problem and then show up and say, okay, you know, like I said, just unaffected, but affected.
Exactly. And honestly, it's like, it's normal to have that anger in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like when a situation happens, I think it's natural to feel a certain way. Yeah. But give it some time. Yeah. You know?
Sometimes like with certain clients, I'm like, okay, I'm like, if there's something that has, rarely again, but if it is like a area where I'm like, I'm going to sleep over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, honestly, hey, right now I can't respond. I'm just in the middle of something. Yeah. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Yeah. But the next day, it's actually like, it's pretty magical how this works out. Yeah. And then I'll approach it completely from, you've had the time, right, to process it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you approach it in a lot more empathetic, compassionate way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think those are all our questions. And you know what? If you guys have any more questions, to do with difficult clients that we may have not addressed today, comment below and let us know. All right, She.E.Os, that's a wrap for today's episode of the She.E.Os of the Six. If you've ever had to deal with difficult clients, which let's be real, we all do from time to time, you're currently in the thick of it. We hope you feel seen, supported, and more equipped than ever before to handle it with grace and grit. So drop us a comment below and let us know. What's one boundary you're working on right now? Or what's your favorite takeaway from today's episode? Until next time, stay bold, stay soft, and stay leading like a She.E.O. See you in the next one.